Hi guys, I'm TJ Kirk, and today's video is brought to you by Violet Orlandi. She has a music channel here on YouTube. It's linked to right down below. I encourage you to subscribe to it. She does a lot of her own songs, and she does a lot of covers. I think that probably my favorite of the covers that I saw was a cover of Marilyn Manson's Satan. She sings it in a way that I never thought I would hear that song sung, but I actually really dig it. Here's a little sample of that.
You say God and I say Satan. You say God and I say Satan. Satan. Open your mouth, love, like a God at church. My gold horns on napalm trees and a crown of thorns is hard to swallow.
And all right, if you enjoyed that, you want to see some more of her stuff, like I said, her channel's down below. And remember, supporting my sponsors helps to support this channel. And with that out of the way, let's take a look at today's topic. Should we go after some low-hanging fruit? Yeah, I think we should. This is a video from Left Foot Media. Why TJ Kirk's takedown of Jordan Peterson will fail. Let's take a look.
Hi, welcome to the Media. My name is Brendan Malone. Well, TJ Kirk, the man who's dubbed himself the amazing.
I've put it on 2x speed because he's annoying and I don't want to listen to him for 15 minutes and 38 seconds. If I can cut that time in half, I'm going to do it.
Atheist has published a brand new video in the last couple of days, which is titled "The Order of Chaos: An Antidote to Meaning," which apparently is intended as the first preamble or introduction to a new audiobook that he's going to be releasing bit by bit, and which eventually will be turned into a written work that you can purchase in written form as well. Now, this
A written work that you can purchase in written form as well. Wow.
audiobook apparently is his attempt to respond to Jordan Peterson, and particularly Jordan Peterson's book 12 Rules. Now, here's the thing. I say respond, but realistically, listening to this first little video clip that he's released, he clearly does not like Jordan Peterson at all, and he wants to destroy Jordan Peterson. It's pretty obvious.
What gave it away? The part where I said I hated Jordan Peterson and wanted to destroy him? Was that your first clue?
To that. Apparently, on a recent plane ride home, TJ Kirk got himself an audio copy of Peterson's book and listened to it. And in the days after that, he decided that he was going to initially try and make a response video. And this is where the first clues are that basically TJ Kirk has not gone into this with an open mind at all. He claims he has. He claimed he went into the book with an open mind, but it's pretty clear listening to this first little video clip he's released that in actual fact, he already went into this with a whole lot of bias and prejudice, and he just allowed that bias and prejudice to close his mind even further as he read what Peterson had to say. For example...
Okay, so you're going to criticize me for a lack of open-mindedness in my reading of Jordan Peterson's book, which I actually read, while you are making a video about why my book that I'm writing will fail when all you've heard is the introduction. But I'm the closed-minded one. Let that sink in, retard. Okay, is it sunk in? No, I forget. I forget you're retarded. I'm going to give it a minute to sink in for you. Do 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 do. La da 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 da. Is it sunk in yet? Still not sunken in. Well, I can't wait any longer. Sorry. We got an audience here to entertain. I can't just fucking spend all my time waiting for that to sink in for you.
Example, he talks about after first reading the book or listening to the book in audio form that he was going to make this response video, and the mantra he said that was going through his head the whole time as he was making his response video, which never actually eventuated, was, I must destroy this book, I must destroy this man. These are not the indications of someone who is engaged in a reasoned, critical thought process. These are the indications that someone is, well, they're being irrational effectively, and their emotions have taken over, they have started to see red, and they're not really thinking clearly. And it's very evident, as I said, listening to this video clip, that what really I think has motivated TJ Kirk to start this audiobook process is not really a proper process of reasoned engagement and critical thought and dialogue and everything else that we value in a society where, you know, reason and reasonable engagement between persons and competing ideas is held up as something important at all. And
Can you put reason in that sentence a few more times? I don't know if I got the whole reason thing. I like how you accuse me of being emotionally compromised when Jordan Peterson's book is full of emotional appeals, and when Jordan Peterson himself flipped his shit just the other day on Twitter, had a big fucking Twitter meltdown because someone wrote an article about him he didn't like. He didn't attack any of the actual substance of the article. He just said that the writer of the article was racist, and that if Peterson and that guy were in the same room, Peterson would have slapped him in the fucking face. So, you know, I mean, you're defending that guy, and then you're attacking me for saying I want to destroy Peterson's book. You know, I'm actually doing what Peterson didn't do with his critics. I'm actually looking into his book, reading his fucking thoughts, reading his opinions, and coming up with a response. What Peterson does is say, oh, you're a racist, and I'm going to smack you like a fucking SJW snowflake little bitch. So that's what's happening there. So don't accuse me of being the one who's emotionally compromised. Don't accuse me of being closed-minded as you're fucking prejudging a book that hasn't even been written yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of problems already, and we're only fucking 2 minutes into this piece of shit.
Instead, it seems quite clear that it's the irrational prejudice that TJ Kirk holds that is really motivating him here. Now, I use the word irrational in the proper sense of that word. It's not reasoned, his prejudice. He has this irrational prejudice against anything religious. And the problem for him is that Jordan Peterson has taken a different approach, and Peterson has basically said, hold on, if we take this sort of extreme, irrational, sort of fundamentalist, atheist approach to religion, then effectively we probably are going to end up throwing out the baby with the bathwater. So even if you don't agree with religion, you're not a religious person yourself, this is Peterson here, there are some important truths about the human experience, and we can go back to religion and religious thought, and we can draw some really important little gems out of all of this. And for TJ Kirk, that is just anathema because of this irrational prejudice. He cannot countenance the idea that anything good could come from the religious community in our society.
That's stupid. What are you basing that on? Because my name used to be the Amazing Atheist, and because I'm an anti-theist, that means I've made the statement that nothing good can come from fucking religion. You know, I mean, if I was Hitchens and I'd written a book like Religion Poisons Everything, you could say that. But I'm not Hitchens. I wish I was, but I'm not. So here's the problem. There's plenty of religious thinkers that I respect. Ken Burns, one of my favorite documentarians, happens to be devoutly religious. I've never been like, I ain't watching this shitty fucking Ken Burns documentary because he believes in God. Johnny Cash, one of my favorite singers, songwriters, performers, very, very religious. Sistine Chapel was inspired by religion. Am I going to look up at the Sistine Chapel and be like, there's a depiction of God, so I hate this. This sucks. No. Quit trying. I mean, like, I don't know where you're getting these assumptions. I don't know where you're getting these notions that I just tacitly or actually explicitly reject anything that was spawned from religion or from a religious person. That's total nonsense. It's abject fucking lunacy. I even said in the introduction to what I was writing that Peterson's views on religion are only a small part of what I disagree with him on. You know, and I think you're going to address that in a second, so I'll let you go ahead and talk.
Just the idea that there is anything good there for him is just an anathema. And this is irrational. It really is irrational for a whole lot of reasons that we don't really have time to get into now. But that clearly is what is motivating him, I think, in this little endeavor that he's embarked upon. In fact, at one point, he explicitly states that Peterson's affinity for Christianity is one facet of his profound disagreement. He says there are others, but it very much is one of those profoundly important facets of this disagreement that he has with Peterson. There's lots of irony in this first little introduction.
So what? It's one of the facets of my disagreement. Yeah, I don't believe in religion. I mean, I believe religion exists. I don't believe it's a good thing. I mean, yeah, is that a bias? Sure. Are you biased? Yes. Is Jordan Peterson biased? Yes. Is every human being that's ever existed biased? Yes. Is saying you're biased, therefore I don't have to listen to you, a credible means of countering an argument? I mean, only if the area of bias can be shown to direct, like, you know, obviously, if someone is your personal enemy, and then they do something bad, or they do something like let's take this Count Dankula situation, for instance. You know, Count Dankula, he's in trouble right now in the UK because of his pug doing the little Nazi salute. I'm sure you know about that. And JF, one of the co-hosts of the Andy Worski Live, you know, said on that show, and was chastised by Andy, by the way, that he doesn't care what happens to Count Dankula because Count Dankula insulted him. So obviously there's an instance of someone's bias clouding their judgment, because JF also claims to be in favor of freedom of speech. So it's like, oh, I'm a free speech advocate. I love free speech. But then here's a guy who's getting unjustly persecuted and prosecuted in the UK on a free speech issue, and JF's like, I don't care what happened to him. In fact, I hope that they write to the court. I hope people write to the courts and encourage him to get a stiffer sentence because he was mean to me. You know, so there's an instance of bias clouding someone's judgment. If you can show how my criticism of Peterson is somehow compromised by my rejection of religion, then that's one thing. But I think that that's actually just a point of contention. He has one idea about religion. I have a different idea about religion. Those two ideas have yet to fucking duke it out, okay? You haven't fucking read my book. You haven't heard my book. It's not fucking done being written yet. I'm still working on chapter 1, okay? And you've already decided that there's, oh my God, it's so biased, it's so wrong. You haven't even heard the fucking arguments yet. If you want to criticize me, do what I'm doing with Peterson. Read the fucking book, wait till the book is complete, or at least wait till a fucking chapter is complete, and then criticize that. Say, hey, TJ Kirk said this here. Here's why I think it's wrong. Instead of fortune telling and being like, well, you know, we all know TJ's just going to be biased because of this, this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and this is, you just, you know, that's, calm down. All right. You're the one who needs to fucking open your mind a little bit and actually listen to what people have to say before you just decide, oh, no, he's just going to be biased. It's just going to be a total, one-sided thing, and he's obviously compromised and blah, blah, blah.
To this audio book that he apparently is undertaking now. At one point, he declares that Peterson's message amounts to little more than a delusion of grandeur. I had a little chuckle. I thought, man, surely even he can see the irony in this. But the biggest irony of
I can see the irony in it, in a delusion of grandeur. What delusions of grandeur do I have about myself? Is it because of the old name, The Amazing Atheist? I mean, when I made that name, I was still the fucking fat neckbeard loser that I am today. I didn't ever say, like, I am legitimately a fucking wonder to behold, and people should bow down before me. Like, don't you get that that's like part of a fucking character, that's part of a fucking sales tactic, that's part of a, hey, you know, that yes, I do recognize the irony of that. It's intentionally ironic. It's oh my God. All right. Let's keep going.
Is the profound contradiction that lies at the heart of what TJ Kirk is trying to do here. What TJ is doing is just, it's philosophically contradictory. Just let me play you the final 40 seconds or so of this video that he's released, and I think you'll see what I'm meaning by the profound contradiction that lies at the heart of this little endeavor. So let's have a listen to what he actually said.
It is my hope that by showing you the inner workings of my mind and giving you insight into my value system, you will gain better insight not only into my videos, but into your own lives. It is my wish to show all of you the profound beauty of nihilism, the freedom of it, the sheer joy of not being forever tethered to someone else's idea of a higher purpose or to a manufactured, grander meaning of life. This book is meant as an exaltation of freedom and a love letter to meaninglessness, to hopelessness, to life without a rigidly defined sense of purpose. I hope very much that it will bring you contentment, or at the very least, stimulate you in some capacity.
If you just stop and think about this, the philosophical contradiction here, the irony, his internal irony alarm should have been screaming at him, TJ, stop, think, what are you actually saying here? Have you thought about the contradiction?
Okay.
You are claiming to offer people a sense of meaning in non-meaning. I mean, this is just classic.
No. Where did I ever say that? Where did I ever say, hey guys, you're going to find a sense of meaning in non-meaning? I never said anything about finding meaning. All right? Even if I do advocate for people finding any sort of meaning, I want them to recognize that the meaning that they find is subjective. There's nothing verifiable about it. There's nothing empirical about it. There's nothing testable about it. It's not falsifiable in any way. It's just their personal, like, you know, the meaning of my life is to help others, or the meaning of my life is to seek out pleasure, or the meaning of my life is to create art, or the meaning of my life is whatever. Whatever they think the meaning is. They can have that, and we all do. We all find some area where okay, this feels like it has meaning to me. But that's just a feeling. That's just an emotion, okay? There's nothing about that actually concretely ties to reality in some sort of measurable, testable, discernible way, all right? That's just a subjective experience that exists within you. What I was saying there is, I'm going to give you a lens through which you can choose, if you so desire, to look through the world that I think will make you realize that you don't need meaning. You don't need objective meaning anyway. I don't even know if you need subjective meaning in order to have some sort of contentment. I don't think you can actually take the sense of meaning out of a person. I think that even the most cynical, jaded, nihilistic person has some things that they attribute higher meaning to than others. Like if let's say they're a film buff, they're gonna think, oh well, this movie that really resonates with me. Let's say like I was watching a movie, The Neon Demon, with my friend Paul, who's very nihilistic, very cynical, very jaded. I could tell that to him that movie had layers of meaning in it, that he ascribed greater importance to that movie than he would to, say, Beverly Hills Chihuahua 2. Now, objectively, one has no greater meaning than the other. So that's a personal experience.
Postmodernism, and it really is, I think, why Jordan Peterson's become so popular, because more and more people are starting to realize, realistically, you can't run around saying, here's a framework that isn't a framework, here's a vision for your life that isn't a vision for your life, here's, as TJ Kirk tries to declare, these rules of mine aren't really rules. Well, if you kind of follow them and live by them and consider them important enough to actually espouse, then they are a framework, they are a set of rules, they are something that gives meaning. Just think about the title of these.
I never said that there was no framework. What I said was, they're not rules, though. I'm not saying here's rules, but they're not rules. What I'm saying is, here's tools. Every fucking, I likened it to an ideological toolbox. Here's you got your fucking ideological screwdriver. Do you find this tool to be useful? If so, take it from me and be like, oh, thanks for this screwdriver. If you look at it and you say, oh, this fucking ideological screwdriver is fucking useless, I don't have any ideological screws. So you throw it in the fucking trash and say, fuck that. Fuck it, I don't need it. It's worthless to me. Get it away from me. Fuck you for even trying to give it to me. That's what I'm saying.
He's given this first video, which I'm not sure is actually going to end up being the title of the whole audio book, but he talks about the order of chaos. Has he not stopped to think about the grand contradiction in that title alone? The fact that the moment...
No. Wait a minute. You mean to tell me that order and chaos are generally considered to be opposites? I never would have guessed that. Yeah. Do I realize the contradiction in the title, The Order of Chaos? Yes. Yes, I do. I recognize the perceived contradiction there. But have you read Jordan Peterson's book? I'm kind of wondering that, because even Jordan Peterson recognizes that order and chaos, at least in some instances, work in tandem. He was talking about evolution as a combination, as being controlled by a combination of order and chaos. Because look, it's random genetic mutation. Oh, a gene mutated. That's chaos. That's not order. But maybe that chaotic event turns out to be beneficial to the organism, and it actually gets passed down, and it becomes part of order. So order and chaos are not so opposite as you might think. It's like my friend Howard Bloom, who actually has a quote on the back of Jordan Peterson's fucking book, often says, opposites are joined at the hip. The things that we think are so different oftentimes are the same, or oftentimes are part of the same thing. It's what a Taoist might call dialectical monism, or dualistic monism.
Moment you actually take chaos and order it, you no longer have chaos, you now have order. And really, that's the whole point, I think, that Jordan Peterson is driving at in a lot of his work, that if you want to have a meaningful life, you've got to find...
Well, if that's the point he's driving at, then he's a moron, because everyone already knows that. Everyone already knows that if you take away chaos and establish order, then you have order. That's not some kind of fucking revelation. If that's a revelation to you, then you're a dim bulb.
Find that order. You can't live in the chaos, and a lot of people are trying to sell you systems effectively of chaos, which in and of themselves are contradictory, because they are still systems and frameworks that people are trying to sell you. Here's what I think is happening. Here's why
systems of chaos. There is no such thing as a system of chaos.
I think TJ Kirk has done this, is because TJ Kirk has basically created a real shtick for himself where he screams and rants and raves at all the low-hanging fruit. That's what he does. He screams like a madman at times at low-hanging fruit, and he does it with such assertive boldness, this screaming and ranting at the low-hanging fruit,
that's what I'm doing right now, by the way. I just want you to know the reason I'm responding to you is because you're low-hanging fruit, and this is easy.
In the past, a lot of people who were searching for a bit of meaning in life and a bit of clarity and direction and realized that some of the other messages and ideologies out there were lacking, but I think they sort of gravitated towards TJ Kirk. But here's the thing. Along comes Jordan Peterson, and what Jordan Peterson has shown people is that there is actually some substantial truth in life that is worth knowing and which you can hang your hat on. There are some important first principles.
Yeah, there are. Water is wet. The sky is up, although which way up is relative to your position. Fire is hot. The wind it fucking blows. Your girlfriend doesn't because you're ugly. Yeah, I mean, there's truths to life, but they're not these grand truths that people yearn for. I'm very fond of a poem by Stephen Crane. I don't have it pulled up here, but I think I'm going to pull it up. I've read it to my audience before. I'm going to pull this poem up here. This is called Truth by Stephen Crane. And it's one of my favorite poems. Truth, said a traveler, is a rock, a mighty fortress. Often have I been to it, even to its highest tower, from whence the world looks black. Now that's Jordan Peterson. Here's the poem's not done yet. Truth, said a traveler, is a breath, a wind, a shadow, a phantom. Long have I pursued it, but never have I touched the hem of its garment. That's me. And I believed the second traveler, for truth was to me a breath, a wind, a shadow, a phantom, and never had I touched the hem of its garment. So maybe that poem crystallizes things for you a little bit. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. But that's the best response I can think of to your gibberish. So let's continue on.
Which will give you a meaningful life and will give you a meaningful engagement with the world. And so what's happened is I think a lot of people have started to realize, perhaps those who were gravitating towards the TJ Kirks of this world, they're now starting to shift back a little bit. I'm not saying they're necessarily leaving them, but they're moving into a more centrist, perhaps a more balanced approach to these things where, when it comes to perhaps religious matters, they're not throwing the baby out with the bathwater. And they've realized that someone like TJ Kirk, all he's doing is just screaming and ranting and raving at the low-hanging fruit. It doesn't take any skill to do that. It doesn't take any intelligence. It doesn't really take any effort at all to do that. But
doesn't take any skill to do that. Lots of people have tried. Most don't get as far as I do. So don't fucking insult me by saying it takes no skill to do what I do. And you know what? If you're saying that all I do is go after the low-hanging fruit, and right now I'm going after Jordan Peterson in my book, are you saying that Jordan Peterson is low-hanging fruit? I mean, I've gone after some pretty big YouTubers, some pretty influential ones. You know, were they all just low-hanging fruit? I've even been on CNN arguing against, what's that fucking guy's name? Not Kent Hovind, the other one. I forget, his name escapes me right now, but he's a big respected theologian and shit, or apologist. And I went toe to toe with that faggot. So who cares? William Lane Craig. That's the name I'm looking for. Inept retard, in my opinion, and I consider him low-hanging fruit, but a lot of religious people actually deeply respect him. So, yeah, I don't think that I've exclusively gone after low-hanging fruit. I've been in debates with people. I've been in confrontations with people. I've been in discussions with people who are not low-hanging fruit. But you know, it's. I guess that's an easy way for you to just dismiss things that are said. Is just, oh well, you know, yeah, he prevailed over all these opponents, but they were all low-hanging fruit. He's not going to prevail over Jordan Peterson, the new fucking god. You know. Because Jordan Peterson is just wicked smart, and every time, you know, you see the way he just wrecks these SJWs, you know, such and such, wrecked, this person wrecked, that person wrecked, Peterson just on a fucking rampage of intellectual annihilation. Nothing can stop him. He's just a fucking steamroller, just destroying every opponent in his fucking path. You know, I mean, anybody can fucking take a discussion between two people, slap the word wrecked on it on their side of the argument and put it up on YouTube. I saw the other day, someone was saying that Peter Hitchens wrecked Russell Brand in this drug debate. And I watched it, and it was not even close to he wasn't even close to being wrecked. You know, yeah, was Peter Hitchens more articulate than Russell Brand was? Sure. Was he on the right side of the argument? No, not at all. Because what the positions they were arguing over were, Peter Hitchens has this thing like, oh, well, we just need to put these druggies in jail. And Russell Brand was like, I think we need to treat it more like a medical issue. And, you know, was like, and Peter Hitchens' whole argument was, well, you know, if we fucking threaten them with jail, then that's going to discourage people from trying drugs in the first place. Well, guess what? That's the exact policy we have here in the United States of America. And also, guess what? It doesn't fucking work. I mean, you know, maybe it sounds good when you say it. Man, if we just put these druggies in jail, then that's going to discourage people from doing drugs. But it doesn't actually work. No one actually fucking, when they're like, hey, I got this substance that's going to make you feel really good. No one's like, yeah, but I don't want to go to jail. They're like, fuck it, I don't see no cops around. Put that shit in my fucking veins. Yeah, bitch. Oh. They're not dissuaded. I mean, I hate to get off on a fucking tangent, but it's easy to just say, oh, well, such and such was wrecked because that's the position I agree with. You know, and then everyone who fucking sees that's like, yeah, that's right. He was wrecked. That's true. Anybody can fucking do that. Anybody. It's not hard.
But at the end of the day, you cannot form a meaningful life by living in this reactive, negative, harsh skepticism where you just scream and rant and rave at all the low-hanging fruit. That's not a proactive and positive vision by which a person can actually start to shape a life on. You just can't. You can't live in that space. You can't advance. You can't.
Why not? Who says? You? What's your fucking expertise, sir?
Mature. You can't grow in that space. You just become an angry, bitter, increasingly diminishing person, both, I think, thought-wise and personally and emotionally and psychologically. You start shriveling up into yourself. It's just a very regressive and self-interested and self-gratifying way of trying to live a life, and you can't really live a life.
Says the closed-minded fuck who's trying to review a book that hasn't been written yet, who's fortune-telling about its contents.
Life that way. You've got to live an outward-focused life to find some sort of sense of meaning and purpose in life. And so what happens is Jordan Peterson comes along and he says, hey, hold on, here's some first principles that you can really hang your hat on that can give you that meaningful life. And what's happened is TJ Kirk has started to notice that his audience share is diminishing here. And on top of that, Peterson is saying that we don't need to be extremist and dogmatic fundamentalists who throw out the baby with the bathwater and reject religion without actually realizing there are some important truths about the human experience in there that we can glean from religion itself. And particularly,
like what? Like what? Give me an example. What's the important truths that we get from religion? Give me one. I've heard Peterson's arguments to this effect, and I'll be addressing some of them in my book. What's yours? What do you think? You're not going to get into it, are you? No. Didn't think so.
Christianity. And so TJ Kirk has taken a whole lot of boxes that have sent him into full rage mode. And that's why I think he's made this, or he's attempting to make this audio book. But here's the thing. I think this envious position that he is coming from, this position, it does seem to be an envious one. This guy's sort of coming into my territory and he's actually drawing people away because he's got something to offer that I don't have. And I'm a bit annoyed about this. And so I'm going to be this guy who sort of sets himself up as the, I'm the counter voice and I'm the voice of reason standing in the wilderness offering you something different. You don't have to buy in, you sycophants, you can follow me instead. Don't follow that guy. Follow this guy. That's effective.
No, I'm not telling anyone to follow me. Don't follow me. That's what you're saying is totally contrary to what I want for people. I don't want them following me or anybody else. I want them to listen. I want them to actively engage with ideas, listen to different perspectives, weigh them out against each other, and see what works best for them. That's what I advocate. I don't advocate follow me. Now, if you decide that, I think TJ Kirk's got some good ideas and you decide like, I'm going to, check in with what he's saying, that's great. That's wonderful. I couldn't be happier. If you decide I'm a total fucking retard putz who doesn't know a goddamn thing he's talking about, that's fine too. You can ignore me or you can just fucking come along and troll me the whole time. Either way is fine. But I'm not looking for followers, and I'm certainly not attacking Peterson because I'm like, oh shit, my market share in the marketplace of ideas is down. You know what? If that was if that's how I really felt, then I wouldn't be attacking Peterson. I'd be emulating him. I'd be saying, oh, okay, so this is what's popular now. So I'm just going to ape that. And we've seen tons of YouTubers do that. We've seen tons of YouTubers say, oh, what's the newest trend? Let's see which way the wind is blowing. Okay, looks like it's blowing to the left, so I'm to the left. I'm to the left. Oh, it's blowing to the right. Well, now I'm to the right. Now I'm to the right. It's gibberish. What you're saying is fucking nonsense.
Definitely what's being sold here. He's just being deliberately contrarian, I think, because I don't think he has any other critical or intelligent way to respond to Peterson. That's why I think he's got the contrarian position, because I think it's the last trick in the bag to try.
What do you mean contrarian? I can't fucking, I'm not, what are you saying? I'm not allowed to disagree with Jordan Peterson? I'm supposed to just, if I listen to Jordan Peterson and my reaction is anything other than, yep, he right about everything. Oh yeah, guys, that's right. Oh yeah, oh geez, he just, always right. We should change his name from Jordan Peterson to Always Right Peterson, because he's always fucking right. Anything short of that, you're just being a contrarian. This man, you're just trying to take the opposite stance because you're trying to present yourself as this contrasting voice because you're sick of Peterson getting your market share. Peterson's fucking, he stole your folks away. They were never mine. I recognize that the people who choose to listen to me or not choose to listen to me do so of their own volition. They're not mine. They don't belong to me. I don't want them to. Okay?
Try and perhaps ride on the coattails of Jordan Peterson and see if he can't pick up a bit more audience share in the process. It's probably more of a marketing decision than anything else. But here's the thing, at the end of the day, I think the best analogy for what's going on here and what this audio...
I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, obviously, I mean, look, when if you actually listened to the introduction with a critical fucking ear or eye or whatever the fuck you want to say, you'd realize that when I heard Jordan Peterson, I'm like, wow, this guy is codifying something that is so opposite to what I believe that I feel impassioned about putting forth my own philosophy. And it's not just the philosophy that says, all right, we're going to be the anti-Petersonists. We're just going to take everything Peterson says and flip it inside out, and that's going to be our philosophy. That would be lazy. That would just be a cynical marketing ploy. What I'm saying is I've had this fucking system of thought that exists within me for a long time. I've never really shared too much of it with the outside world. I've never really codified it, but listening to Peterson's book made me realize it's time for me to codify my own thoughts on these matters, because this stuff is important and I don't want him to be the only voice people are hearing on this stuff. So that was my motive. And do I hope that there will be people who are interested in what I have to say and financially compensate me? Yes. So on that level, yeah, there is a bit of a marketing decision involved. But is it entirely that? Is it wholly just, I'm just going to cynically try to exploit this situation? No. Total bullshit. Once again, just another unfounded assumption from left testicle media. You want to talk about the real low-hanging fruit? There it is.
Book is actually going to be is it's going to be the equivalent of an angsty teenage older brother. I mean, think about the fact that Jordan Peterson is now often regularly being referred to as like a father figure or a father to people who perhaps have missed out on fathering or good fatherly input and advice. I think that's probably a pretty good summation and description of what Peterson does for a lot of people. And
you don't see a problem with that, right? You don't see a problem with, hey, this guy is setting himself up as a father figure to the disenfranchised. You know, I'm not trying to be anyone's older brother or any sort of relation. I'm trying to be a guy on YouTube who has opinions. That's all I'm trying to be, and it seems like I've succeeded in that. I ain't trying to be your fucking daddy. I ain't trying to be your older brother. I ain't trying to be your second fucking cousin or your fucking crazy neighbor or any of that shit. I'm just trying to be me. I'm not trying to be a stand-in because your daddy didn't fucking hug you enough, you little bitch.
If Peterson was like the father...
Oh shit, I'm yelling at low-hanging fruit again, sorry.
Then DJ Kirk is like the angsty older brother of yours who hates Dad. He really hates Dad. He's had it in for Dad for years. He doesn't think that Dad understands him and Dad sees the world properly. And he wants you, the younger brother or the younger sister, to follow him and be on his side. He doesn't want you listening to Dad. And so he screams and rants and he's got all the angst and says, you've got to fight the man, got to fight the system, rage against the machine, man. That's what we're all about. And don't listen to Dad, whatever you do. He's an idiot. Dad's a fool. Don't follow Dad. Follow me. And you're sitting there like the little brother or little sister and you're going, well...
Don't follow yourself. Listen to me. Listen to Dad. Weigh out the fucking opinions and decide for yourself what you agree with and what you think is right. But if you're fucking taking some Canadian professor and saying, this is my daddy now, he's like my father, then you got problems. You got problems that can't be solved by a fucking self-help book. Which, let's be real here, that's what Jordan Peterson's book really is. It's just a bad self-help book masquerading as some sort of philosophical fucking treatise.
Hold on a minute, big bro. Dad's also telling us to rage against the machine, but he actually seems to have given us a really proactive and practical way to rage against the machine by having a concrete vision and some first principles that are meaningful for your own life and then striving to live out a good life. And in doing that, no one will control you and you'll end up raging against the machine. So I think Dad's got some wisdom here that's worth listening to. And then you're...
And fine, then listen to it. I don't give a shit. And quit calling Jordan Peterson Dad, you weirdo.
Or brother TJ responds and say, no, Dad's an idiot. Don't listen to him. Follow me in my angst. You don't need wisdom. You need angst. I'm offering angst. He's offering wisdom. Right? And so that's what's going on here. You've got this older teenage brother who desperately is annoyed at the fact that some of the younger siblings are looking elsewhere because they can see some actual substance in what Dad, quote unquote, is offering them this time around. At the end of the day, okay. I'm not convinced that this audiobook is really going to be much more than a drop in a massive ocean. Maybe he'll finish it. Maybe he won't. But the simple fact...
I will, as long as I don't die.
...is that there is nothing really in TJ Kirk's past catalogue which indicates to me that he is going to be able to actually match it with Peter.
And you say that as someone who's seen All of my videos, I'm sure.
And I don't mean in a derogatory kind of, oh, this guy's dumb. I mean in the sense that Peterson is well thought out. Peterson has a confidence because he has looked into, he's been thinking clearly about these issues, and he is cautious and careful in the way that he approaches and speaks about issues. He's someone who is well reasoned.
He's cautious and careful. He was just on Twitter the other day saying he was going to slap people and saying, they call me racist. That person's racist because they said, yeah. Didn't address a single point in the fucking article. Someone wrote this big, long article against him, and it was kind of SJWE, so some of it was kind of silly in my opinion, but there was a lot of points in there that probably were worth addressing. A lot of points that'll probably be echoed in my own fucking book. And I already thought of them. It's not like I'm taking them from this person. I already had these thoughts in my head. I'll give you an example. Peterson has this tendency throughout his book to infer concrete conclusions from his personal subjective interpretation of symbolism and mythology, which is total fucking sophistry, which is total bullshit, totally ridiculous. And that article actually addressed the fact that he does that. Did Peterson counter that in any sort of meaningful way? No, he said, you're a racist and I'd slap you. You're a racist and I'd slap you. That was his fucking response. All right? That was your fucking dad's response to someone challenging him. So don't come to me like I'm some sort of fucking empty-headed, vacuous moron who's just, angst is the answer. Slit your fucking wrist, man. Don't listen to dad. That's how you characterize me, and Peterson is this deep, serious-minded, contemplative thinker. Wow, man, Mr. Peterson, you think so good. You think so good, Mr. Peterson. You like the daddy I never had. You like the daddy I just done never even had, Mr. Peterson. You the greatest. You the greatest. What a simpering fucking dolt.
He is someone who is well thought out. He is someone who actually has wisdom to offer because he spent time thinking about it and saturated in these issues. TJ Kirk is someone, as I said, who screams.
I've never thought about anything. You know what? Between videos, I just kind of, mull around in a vegetative, unthinking state. If the second the camera cuts off, I'm just like,
let's watch me some Pawn Stars. Oh, Rick Harrison is gonna lowball him on that one. Oh, he did. He did. No, the guy praised it for $2,000, and Rick said he'd only pay $50. That scumbag, man, that's crazy. The Pawn Stars.
Now, okay, admittedly, sometimes I am that way. Sometimes, but not all the time. Sometimes believe it or not, I actually think about things. Believe it or not, over the course of my 33 fucking years on this planet, I've actually devoted my brain power to some important issues and some philosophical concepts and other things. And I feel like they've marinated in my brain long enough that it's time to share them with the world. That's what I'm attempting to do with my forthcoming book that's going to be released chapter by chapter as an audiobook here on YouTube. It's called The Order of Chaos. Does he even see the contradiction in that title? Yes, he does. Don't be stupid. Anyone sees the contradiction in that title. It's intentionally there, you dense fuck.
And I'm not convinced that that is going to offer anything to anybody.
I don't give a shit what you're convinced.
In the first place, because they're only really interested in someone who rants and screams and raves at low-hanging fruit. And so I don't think anyone here is going to be convinced at all. And I certainly don't think you're going to find any sense of meaning or hope or purpose, despite what he's claiming, in anything that TJ Kirk is going to have on offer here.
Why would you played in this video a thing where I said, no meaning, no hope. Those things are bad and they're holding you back. But now you're saying that I'm trying to offer those things to people? No, I'm not. I don't want people to be hopeful. Hope is a fucking lie. It's better for them to accept the hopelessness of their situation and react accordingly. Is it really that controversial of an idea that people should accept reality the way it actually is? Is that so fucking shockingly fucking contrarian now? Hey guys, I think we should only accept reality to be true, and everything else that we, you know, internally find meaning in, I think we should recognize that that's just subjective bullshit that we use to deal with life. But now that's a controversial, contrarian opinion. Because, you know, there's these great moral truths in religion, mate. There's these great truths. Name one. Name a single fucking truth contained within religious text that humanity couldn't get from some other source. You know, like name something about Christianity or Islam or Buddhism or any of those things. Name a concept in there that's useful to humanity on a pragmatic level that couldn't be equally useful in a secular context. Can you do it? That's my challenge to you. That's what I'm putting forth to you, sir.
Although I'd love to hear what your thoughts are, so please let me know in the comment section below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? And if you like the content I'm producing and you'd like to see...
All right, by the way, the contents of the comment section are basically, TJ Kirk shoved a banana up his ass. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. And I just shoved my right foot up left foot media's ass, too. So fuck you. Fuck your fans. Fuck Jordan Peterson. The order of chaos. It's coming at you, whether you fucking like it or not. And it's not meant as a takedown of Peterson necessarily, although it will... That'll be one of the many things that it accomplishes. Let's just put it that way. So fuck off. Don't waste any more of my time with your stupid yammering gibberish, you fucking goon.